All right, we're going to talk today about the most powerful skill in business and sales with one of the leading experts. I've got Glenn from businesscommunicationexpert.com. He's going to tell you how to quickly connect with prospects. The one question you should ask everyone, the wrong question you should not be asking, the number one thing how to ask to never get a no, three massive improvements you have to do in communication, and he's going to give you two amazing communication hacks. All this on the Garlic Marketing Show. But before we get started, of course, this is brought to you by videocasestory.com. One of the best things you can be doing in your communication is have your case stories and videos of you everywhere your clients and prospects are looking. That's the fish in the barrel strategy. Want to see how much money you can make? I bet you can make at least 100K a year going to videocasestory.com/FIB to find out how much money you can make when we do the fish and barrel analyzer. All right, let's get started.
My name is Gino Wickman. I was introduced to Ian, and that's what brought me into this video world and got me embracing this video world. And Ian did exactly what I hoped. He got me really comfortable with putting videos out to the world and having a great strategy around putting videos out to the world, because there's so much more than just shooting a video. And so the way that he positions those videos, optimizes those videos, he's done a great job.
I got to meet Glenn at an event, and it was amazing. Just the subtle questions, the subtle difference in how you talk to people. And it's not salesy. It's just asking the right questions, approaching things the right way. And I love it. And I'm excited to have you on. Glenn, thanks for being on.
Oh, it is a pleasure. Thank you so much. And it was so exciting to meet you and several of the other individuals at Dan's program about a week or so ago in Orlando. What an amazing group of individuals. And I was very blessed. A number of people reached out to me to learn more about how to become a powerful communicator. Now, I talk to people about being able to close more sales. However, a lot of us, and myself included, I don't want to be a sales person. I don't want to be pushy. So I want to take the word sales closing out of our conversation, and we're going to put a new perspective in: solution-based sales closing. What do I mean by that? Several years back, when I was working with clients, I put together a thing I call the psychology of the sale. It's 10 buying and selling insights, and we could call it the psychology of solving. So here's the first one: every situation is a selling situation or a solving situation, right? Now, what do I mean by that? See, our brains are working all day long, and our brain is telling us what we want to do that will deliver the emotion of happiness, right? So, for example, I'm going to be speaking in a few weeks in Chicago at the America's Beauty Show. 3 days, huge floor of vendors. Now, some people will get up in the morning and they're going to put on their running shoes because they're going to walk all day on that hard cement floor. And what do they want? They want to be happy with their feet at the end of the day. Now, there's going to be a lot of hairdressers and beauty industry people at this show. And some of them, they want to look like rock stars. So they're going to be wearing the 6-inch stilettos all day long. Why? Because they want people to look at them and think that they're cool and they'll be happy. So you see, whether you're wearing the running shoes or the stilettos, it's really about which one makes you happy. So every situation is a selling situation, and our brain sells us on what we believe, right or wrong, will make us happy. That's number one. Here's number two. And this is huge. Now, I don't have a tattoo, but if I had a tattoo, it would say selling is the transfer of emotion. Selling is the transfer of emotion. What do I mean? I mean, we spend money to purchase the emotion of happiness to replace the emotion of unhappiness we're living with, right? If I say, man, I hate my car. I hate my car. The air conditioner doesn't work. It's always breaking down. I'm not happy. So what does your brain say? Go buy a new car, right? So it doesn't say I'm getting a Ferrari. It doesn't say I'm getting a Toyota. It just says go get a new car. And whatever car I get, I have a belief before I walk in a dealership, because I've done my homework, That car is going to make me happy. So it's not the car, it's the end result. It's the same thing when we buy food in a restaurant. One guy wants the chicken, one guy wants the steak. Who's happier? Both of them. So when it comes to communication, communication actually starts here in your head. And that is your belief system. And I usually make people laugh. And I ask, do you know what the technical abbreviation is for belief system? And they think real hard. And I go, BS. Yeah, it's BS, right? Wherever you are in life, you're there because of your belief system said, do these things, and you believe it'll get you where you want to go, which will be happy. Now, if you're not happy, well, we need to change things. So one of the things I stress is that your ability to communicate, to connect, and then close a conversation or a consultation is the most influential, persuasive, and powerful skill in your business, your sales, your financial, oh yeah, and your personal life. Now, you and I both know a lot of people spend a lot of time, money, and energy, and they're smart. They're marketing and advertising to try to attract new people to their business, live or virtual. Biggest challenge is when those folks show up, they do not know how to communicate, connect with that person, and then close the conversation. And when I say connect, what do I mean by connect? Before I get into a consultation, I get into a conversation. In other words, I say to the prospect or the client, tell me about you. Now, I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm originally from New Orleans. So when I meet someone new, I might say, well, are you from Charlotte? No, I'm not from Charlotte. I'm from Timbuktu or whatever. And I go, me too. I'm not from here. So I just found a common ground. We're both not from Charlotte. Now I might say, well, tell me about you. I mean, are you married, single, you work? Tell me about your family. Oh, well, I have my wife, 2 children, and we have a couple of dogs. Dogs! Oh my goodness. I have a dog. Common ground. Before I coach my clients to get into the consultation, what's broke? What have you done so far? I want to know about you. And the reason I do this, first of all, it's honest, because I want to know the person long before I feel the need to know about what's the roadblock and the holdback that's restricting you from the success that you say you want. And another part of communication, and this is the most important part, I always begin by asking questions. Always ask a question first. A salesman basically shows up at your office. He's got a briefcase full of stuff, and he's going to dump the whole briefcase on your head, cross his fingers and hope you come out of that pile of you-know-what and said, oh, I'll buy this. I don't do that. I ask these questions. For example, when I'm interviewing a client to see if I want to take them on as a client or if they want to take me on as a coach, I ask this question. If you could change anything about your business, what would you change? And I'll say it again in a different way because repetition is crucial. In case you didn't get that, let me say it again. Repetition is crucial. Right? I would say, basically, what do you feel is holding you back from achieving the success that you're looking for? And the guy says, well, man, productivity's down. Let me write that down. And, well, we're having a hard time retaining employees. Let me write that down. And we really need to get sales up another 20%. Let me write that down. Now, I want that person to see me write it down because the more they see me, their subconscious brain says, oh, this guy's paying attention. He cares. All right, if selling is the transfer of emotion, caring is an emotion. Mm-hmm. Right? And then I would say, we'll call him John. So John, is there anything else? Well, let me confirm. We want to improve productivity. Yeah. Retain our employees. Yeah. And increase sales by 20%. Yeah. Okay. So let me share with you which program I would recommend that would get you where you want to go. And honestly, nobody ever says no. Right? Now, my background's in the beauty industry, and many stylists, and I'm also a master barber, many stylists will say to a client, so let me, Ian, I know, are you married?
Yes.
And what is your wife's name?
Jessica.
Jessica. I'll bet you Jessica will tell you I'm correct when I say this. She goes to the hairdresser, and the hairdresser says, "So, Miss Jessica, what are we doing with your hair today?" Or, "How do you want me to fix your hair?" Terrible. Would you go to a doctor who said, "How do you want me to fix your broken leg?" No. Right. But what's the difference? I would say, "Now, Miss Jessica, I know you're on the appointment book for a haircut. However," transitional word, "if you could change anything about your hair, the texture, the length, the density, the color, do you feel like during the summer it gets frizzy in humid weather? What would you change?" And Jessica says, "Oh, yeah, every time I walk outside in the summer, my hair frizzes up." Let me write that down. "And uh, I think my hair's thinning out a little bit." Let me write that down. "And Glenn, my ends are always dry and brittle." Let me write that down. Okay, I know exactly what to talk about because Jessica told me what's broke, what's delivering the emotion of unhappiness. So when I say, "So if I could offer you a service where I can make your hair 100% humidity resistant up to 6 months, there's no harsh chemicals involved, it will make your hair look fuller, and it will repair your dry ends. Is that something you might be interested in?" Nobody ever says no. And this is important. Price is never the determining factor. Because when I can deliver to Jessica the head of hair that makes her happy, you can't put a price on it. Right? We may look at a price and go, "Oh, it's kind of expensive." It doesn't mean we don't want it. I mean, anytime someone talks to me about a coaching program and they go, "Oh, I don't know, it's a little expensive." It's not that it's too expensive. It's I have to create greater value for the price that I'm asking. They're just not seeing the value at X amount of dollars. So if they're not seeing the value, I might say, "I'll tell you what if I give you a bonus? I'm going to bonus you 5 extra sessions." And that's a value of $5,000. Well, the value went up, but the price stayed the same. So I can increase the value. And when the value, they go, "Oh, yeah, now it's worth the price." See, it really wasn't the price, it was the value.
Yes.
So in communication, and I'll share this with you in the audience, there are 3 things that will make any one of us a more powerful communicator. Now, I know this based on the fact that I was not a powerful communicator for a long time. And I had to learn the skills of a powerful communicator. So here's the 3 key elements. Number 1, verbiage, words. Every word we speak creates an image in the mind of the listener. So if I said to you, "I saw a picture of King Kong climbing the Eiffel Tower." Well, do you see the letters K-I-N-G, K-O-N-G, K-O-N-G in your brain? No. You've got some image of King Kong climbing the Eiffel Tower, which means every word I speak creates an image. And if I'm using negative words, confusing words, the typical kind of, sort of, it's like, maybe, what I'm trying to do, those do not create a clear image. So we want to use words that create a clear image. And this is even deeper. I want to use words that are the language of the person I'm speaking to. When I understand the language of their business, of how they communicate, I adapt to that language. All right, so that's number 1. You got to have the right words. Number 2, tone of voice. Now, I do a lot of study in the subconscious brain, and I can tell you that based on research, deeper voices close more sales. Because you and I and Jessica and my wife, all of us, between birth and age 7, we were programmed to believe that a deeper voice is the voice of authority. In other words, if God talks to me, it's not going to be Mickey Mouse, right? God's not going to go, Glenn, I want to talk to you. Come here, Glenn. No, it's going to be James Earl Jones as Darth Vader. Glenn, yes, Lord. Right. So, and this is important because I work with a lot of women and they go, but Glenn, you're a guy, you have a deep voice. It's like, wait a minute. My mother had 2 voices. My mother had the call me in the dinner voice, Glenn, dinner time. And then dummy Glenn knocked over the entire pitcher of iced tea. And I heard the voice of Darth Vader, Glenn Michael, a deep voice. So women have it too. They just have to learn how to use it. All right. So verbiage, tone of voice, and this is the big one, visual messaging. Now, my background is in the beauty industry, but I used to sing for a living. Lyrics are verbiage. Voice, you have to have if you're a singer or a presenter or a speaker or just a guy or girl in business. And then you can't be standing there with your hands under your armpits. Or yeah, I go to a networker meeting and what I see is, what do guys do? They shove their hands in their pockets and their shoulders go up and they lose their neck. No, your hands are expression. Watch this. What I want to share with you today is how you can become a powerful communicator, totally transform your business, sales, financial, and most importantly, your personal life. Every gesture has a meaning. And so when we are in communication and conversation with a client, we want to express ourselves a certain way. Now, I'll give you a couple of tips that I teach clients. Now, when I met you at Dan's event in Orlando, you didn't know it, and I'm so practiced, I do it automatic. But when you and I were standing up speaking, my right shoulder faced your right shoulder. And I did that for a reason. See, because I know you were trained to read from left to right. And you stop at the end of every sentence before you start over. Because I was right shoulder to right shoulder, I was in the position of becoming the end of the sentence. And based on studies in eye movement, because that's where I do my homework, I will retain your attention longer as I speak when I am right shoulder to right shoulder, as opposed to if I'm dead center, and I will never, ever be on the left. That's a powerful tip.
Yes.
Because you're going, our listeners are going to communicate anyway. And I call it, why not have the communication edge, right? If you know what the other guy doesn't know, you have the edge. Now, I'll give you one more, and everybody who's listening, I want you to try this. Have you ever heard the statement, look them in the eyes? Have you ever heard that statement?
Of course.
No, that's a lie. Listen to the homework and the science. Look them in the left eye. I'm going to say it again. Right shoulder, left eye. Here's the reason why. Remember I said earlier, selling or solving is the transfer of emotion. The left eye is controlled by the opposite side of the brain, where the majority of a person's emotion lives. Which means when I speak to the left eye, I'm going to make you laugh. I'm speaking to your cash, your check, and your credit card. So right shoulder to right shoulder, but look them in the left eye as you speak. And it will help you to close more conversations and consultations where your listener takes a positive call to action. It's a science. And trust me, when you know the science, it's like being Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, the best of the best. You just do it.
That's amazing. That's a lot. So tell me about at your event. What happens at these events?
Oh my gosh. So my next event will be June 4th, 5th, 6th in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm holding the event at the Canopy Hotel by Hilton. Absolutely beautiful hotel. Anyone coming from out of town, I have an amazing room rate. It's $167 a night and complimentary parking. So that's a $20, $30 savings right there. This is going to be on Thursday evening We're going to have a cocktail party, networking. Everybody gets together. You're going to meet the speakers. I have some amazing speakers coming in. Debbie Allen's coming in. Dave Sanderson's coming in. If you don't know who Dave is, Dave was the last guy off the plane that landed in the Hudson River.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. And he's going to be talking about being resilient, right? Because you better be a little resilient when you're in the middle of the Hudson River. Right? And then Debbie is an amazing marketer. Very, very wonderful person. So I've got some great speakers. Then on Friday and Saturday, we start at 9 a.m. We go till 5. I have a number of speakers. I am definitely doing about 4 different breakout sessions each day myself. VIP tickets include lunch, coffee all day, cocktail party, swag bag, all the good fun stuff. And then we have some general admission. You don't get the lunch. You can go take your own lunch and come back. But I made the prices very affordable. General admission is only $97 for the 2 days. And then the VIP is $197, helps me cover the cost of food. But you will, I say you, any person who attends, I guarantee will walk away with tips and techniques that will transform their communication, their sales, their business and personal life before they walk out the door at the end of the day. And that's in Charlotte, 4th, 5th, and 6th. They can go to my website, which is businesscommunicationexpert.com. That's businesscommunicationexpert.com. Click the link to the event, get registered. We have limited seating. We're hoping to have, I can't handle more than 100 people. So it's going to be a very tight, fun group. I have a lot of exercises. So every attendee is going to walk away with value. I guarantee it.
And if someone, and obviously we'll put a link in the show notes for that.
Thanks.
And you've got, you're doing one in New Orleans and several others. So if you're watching this after, go to the link in the show notes if you're interested in improving your communication. Here with Glenn, these amazing techniques. And Glenn, tell us again a little bit, how many beauty professionals and health professionals have you coached over the years? It's quite a few from what I heard.
Oh my gosh. I am a very blessed individual. I've had the good fortune to travel the world. I have coached thousands and thousands of business professionals in the beauty industry, everything from entrepreneurial startups to industry giants on how to communicate, connect, and close. And when I say close, I want to stress this. It's not always about asking for money. Sometimes it's how do we ask to move the conversation to the next level? It might be as simple as saying, hey, listen, today's meeting was great. Can we meet next week? Go grab a cup of coffee or jump on a Zoom and let me do some work for you and let's take this to the next level. Because, and this is important, if there is no communication, nothing happens.
Nope.
Right?
Nope. So that's amazing. All right. Well, Glenn, so we'll put a link to all that in the show notes. And where's the best place to follow you online?
Well, the easiest thing in the world is you can go on Facebook. You can go on email. My email is Glenn, Glenn, at com, C-O-M, X as an X-ray, PERT.com. And I'm an easy guy to get a hold of. I answer my own phone. So if somebody wants to call me or text me, 504-250-3969. And I have an offer for all of your viewers. Anyone who's interested, go to the website, click the link to book 30 minutes strategy session with me, and it's no cost.
Wow. Let's
see where you are, see where you want to go. And I will help. I work with clients to determine where do you want to be in just 1 year? And this is important. When I know where you want to go, we can reverse engineer to today to get us started. And if you don't reach out to me, keep this in mind. What's the happily ever after you want to take away in 1 year? Because when you know the happily ever after, then we can reverse engineer to the once upon a time.
Love that.
You got it. And listen, man, it's such a pleasure to have you on my list of people, right? Because I'm just taken aback by your success.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's been fantastic meeting you and great having you on the show. Glenn, we'll put a link to all of that in the show notes. Thank you so much for being on the Garlic Marketing Show.
It's my pleasure, my friend. Anytime you need something, you reach out to Glenn.
We'll do that. And Thank you all for making Glenn and I part of your story. Make sure to take him up on that offer, give him a call. And this has been Iron Garlic and the Garlic Marketing Show.